See, we have struggles with it too.
Sorry, folks.
Don't be sorry. So it's one of those things, you know, it's very difficult. It is a super challenging situation to understand how do I relate back. One of the things that comes to mind is when we have parent relationships where we are so totally different from the rest of our family, that feeling of, I always had people say that to me, like, where did you come from? They meet my mom, my brother, my dad. I'm sorry, where did you come from? Like, or my extended family. My husband, he likes to kind of joke. He's like, yeah, Jesse's one of a kind, you know, because she did not come from them.
Yeah, and as a child, you know, in some of my worst years with my mother, I actually started searching through documents to see if maybe I was adopted. The only issue was I looked just like my father. But I was praying to God that would explain why I just didn't get these people. You know? I literally did for several years.
Yeah, I used to think I was actually adopted.
I snooped like
a baby snuck in the
Right?
Yeah. But one of the things that came to me, and this was when I was trying to understand, like, why did my soul birth into this family? Why did my soul in any way choose this family? And what I heard in my meditation in working on this was so clear that I have never felt doubt about it since. One, the vessel that came as the creation, out of the creation of my parents coming together, this vessel body is amazing. It's capable of amazing things. It's powerful, it's flexible, it's strong, it's beautiful, it's talented, it's full of gifts. The line, right? Same with Shauna, by the way. The line, the genetic line of my parents, my mom's family especially, was horribly corrupted. And when we look at the family lines and we look at how these people in my mom's side of the family are gifted, talented, beautiful, powerful people, influential, but they're all locked up. They are crazy, manipulative, controlling. They've been corrupted, and all of these gifts have been turned into weapons and tools. So my higher soul, when it was deciding, I need a vessel to birth into, well, it needed those genetics. It needed to be able to have that sense of presence, that power, that beauty, that love, that joy, that excitement, that drive. And it needed to clear out that line because my son is amazing. Shauna's girls are amazing. They have their own struggles because it takes 3 generations to heal a family from that level of dysfunction. But that's what we're doing. We're healing a family line that is a powerful line, that is a beautiful line, and that moving forward from us is going to contribute some of the most amazing gifts to humanity. And that allows me to feel grateful. And I recognize that my mother, even though I don't agree with the way that she chose to raise me and my brother, she also was working to heal the family line. She came in also to try to pull the family out. And yes, she's rejected by most of the family, but that's part of it, is pulling her out of that family line. Somebody's ringing my doorbell. So I'm going to go see who it is while Shauna talks a little bit more about that.
Oh, great. You put me on the spot, and now I have nothing to say.
Family line. Your family line.
No, you know, it is true, actually. I have to say that even though I call my childhood torture, it wasn't literal torture, but what I call... I can look back, I can look back to what my mother went through and how very corrupt her mother was. The torture, literal torture, physical torture that she went through, as well as emotional, is not my degree of it that I received from her is nowhere near what she went through. So, I see the pattern that she was trying to heal this light as well. She's very gifted, but as Jesse said, those gifts turn into a weapon, and that is how they live. And I haven't been able to pull her into that healing process. She's not able to get there, which I have to respect and honor as well. But honestly, she did her very best, and I am very well aware of that, and I have to give her credit, to be honest, to get us through to where I could come out of it being a decent person. Had I gone through what she went through, who knows who I would be right now, and we have to say that I think we both give them credit for that effort and that work, but that doesn't mean that we can continue that work and stay closely connected to them.
One of the things that both of us have is our children don't really want anything to do with our mothers.
Yeah.
Neither of our kids do.
And actually, my oldest spent a lot of time with her. I was quite confused at that stage. And as a young child, she spent a lot of time with her. And she has, I would say, more difficulty similar to mine coming out of that time spent with her as a young child. So that clearly was her path. Why I would think that my mother would treat her any differently than she treated anyone else, I don't know. But
so,
right, and it was her path.
Obligation.
It was obligation. I was obligated to allow my child to spend time with my mother because that was her grandmother, right? I needed to respect that, and I was extremely obligated to take care of that. So, yeah, we just find, I just,
My son actually, the last time he was up at my mom's house, he came home, he called me to come and pick him up because he had accidentally let her Newfoundland dog that was a puppy the size of a horse. He's a city kid. He doesn't grow up on the farm. He accidentally let the dog out, and the dog killed some of her chickens. And her response was this overwhelming despair. Like, imagine a woman dropping to her knees, clutching a bloody dead chicken to her chest as she wails. Right? And wails. And my kid, who at that time is like maybe 7, 8, he goes up to her. He is so brave and said, "Grandma, I'm so sorry. I'm the one that left the door open." He didn't try to hide it. He didn't try to cover it. And her response was just like, "Why? Don't you know?" Just this overwhelming despair. And when I tried to talk to her about it later, she said, "I didn't blame him. I didn't do anything wrong. I was distraught that so many of my chickens were killed." Well, then the dog got out the next day and killed like another 20 chickens or some ridiculous amount. And so he called me and he's like, "I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be here. Please come get me." And he was only there for a weekend so that my husband and I could go take a weekend together. And when we were driving away, he said, "Mom, I don't ever want to go there again. I never want to go there again." And if it were up to him, he would never see her again. Like, never. So we have to also respect our kids' wishes. Yeah. Our roles as parents. Do we want to continue to expose our children out of obligation and a societal expectation to take care of these people that are damaging us and our children and continue that relationship? I certainly wouldn't tell my son to do that. I would never tell him that he's obligated to take care of somebody who doesn't really care for him. So we have to remember that piece as well. Let's see. Karen said, "Healing as a daughter as well as a mother to my children for the future family line to not continue the dysfunction." Exactly. That's the most important thing. So we're just about out of time, and I'm going to tell you guys something really funny, okay? So who was at the door? It was not my mother. But it was the Comcast signal guy. And he said, "We're in the area trying to trace down. There's a really something is slowing the internet connection for around this area. And we're trying to figure out what's causing it." And he shows me this little chart, this little thing. It's all spiky. And he goes, "This is internet traffic." And he goes, "See this like hump right here? Yeah, this is your place." And we're trying to figure out what's causing the line to be so slow through here. Maybe there's something wrong with your connection. Maybe there's a loose wire, and we'd like to help you have a better connection. Isn't that hilarious?
That is funny.
I think that's hilarious.
You're like, dude, there is nothing you can do about that.
So I said, we're actually right in the middle of doing a live broadcast at this moment. Do you have anything you can do for 10 minutes until we're done? He goes, 10 minutes? I have a full thermos of coffee and a phone with Wi-Fi. And he said, I'll be back in 10 minutes.
That's great.
So I thought that was hilarious. So tomorrow, what we're going to do, I really wanted to talk about this. I wanted to talk with Shauna also. I was so grateful for her coming up this week because she and I have similar but different perspectives on it. Where she stayed in it with her mom. She went to the mat with her. She tried so hard. I was like, oh, you're releasing me, Mom? Thank God. Bye-bye. All done.
It was all while healing myself. In all reality, it was the biggest gift I could have given myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had to keep doing all that healing work. I just didn't have her in the mirror reflecting at me back and forth. So it was still two similar approaches. And Shauna has been instrumental in my healing and recovery of that aspect of myself. And that's something we do for each other.
Yeah, we do so much for each other. It's awesome. But yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons that my path was to carry forward and continue that work and try really hard with her to really exhaust all of those avenues of my own healing. Because every time I came up against a wall, every time I realized I was wasting my effort, I realized I was healing myself. I was able to forgive myself, let myself heal in so many ways. That I can help others through that process in a much quicker way because I actually drug it out over 20 years or whatever I did, so with a 6-year break. Yeah.
And both Shauna and I have taken the approach of the mental health care system, medical health care, and energetic. And honestly, I think the best work that has been for me to get over it has been the energetic and consciousness approach.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, but I do have to say the mental health, it did save a part of me for a period of time in my life. It was definitely what I needed for that support because I had none anywhere else.
And I think the best kind of mental health care you can get is an energetically aware mental health care professional. That was my therapist. She was unconscious about it, but she was a very intuitive and gifted healer and worked that way. I actually found so much of my energy work that I do now is deeply rooted in things that I learned in that therapeutic sessions. And what had happened for me, because I spent a good 10 years straight working with her, I think it was 10 and a half years total. I'm not sure about Shauna, but that was a reparenting time for me. She reparented me through these really critical stages of growth and development and gave me a different perspective, which was critical. So this is not to discount any of these things. They're all pieces of the puzzle that put together. But the cream on top was definitely this consciousness work and really giving ourselves that credit.
Yeah, because I have to say, in the many years of therapy that I did, it was a lot of putting out fires. It was emergency, and it was...
Combat medic.
Yeah, it really was, and it was more about teaching me that I exist and I matter. She did teach me things like the EFT, which is the tapping, and that was very helpful.
Great
but for some reason, parts of me wouldn't allow me to use that on my own. So I only did it when I was with her. But she was the same way. Yeah, very.
Yeah. So we're at the end of our hour. I just wanted to also say, Misty said, thank you, ladies. I'm breaking the cycle too. Much love and respect. My mother was a heroin addict. When you throw addiction into those things, it's heartbreaking. So kudos to you for doing that work. That is awesome. Awesome. Thanks, Shauna.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. So tomorrow, what we're going to do is we're going to have a little bit more discussion on obligation relationships. And then we're going to make sure we spend probably a good 25, 30 minutes, the last half of the show, in working on this, working on releasing it in various ways. And Shauna and I will both kind of bring the various tools and systems that we have found most successful in helping us. And the funny thing is, Brian was just over last night doing a new thing.
You know, I have to say, dude, Brian is awesome. Amazing.
Yeah, you will be seeing more of
Great
him
guy.
from Healing Pathwalkers for sure as we support him. Yes, Misty, every day. We're on Monday through Friday from 10 to 11 my time, Pacific time. My goal with Morning Oasis is to help people create a daily practice and a daily focus on healing themselves. Love you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.